with new waves, new rides, new bike roads, new tires, new pages, new books, new haircuts, new looks.
Now that's a clip from the short film and music video for the song Different Than Before by Amanda Sum. It is a beautiful song with a serious story around it. And with us today is Mayumi Yoshida. Mayumi is the writer and director of that film, and it is so nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Gloria.
Now, what we just saw, that looks like a fun moment, but this whole scene is sort of set around a family out for a dim sum, looking a little bit uncomfortable in terms of how to react to some comments they're getting from a table nearby. Can you take us a little bit through that scene?
Yes, absolutely. So Sarah, who is the character singing at the karaoke, it's her engagement party, and there's these hecklers who are at the table afar at the restaurant who throws some racial slurs towards them and kind of mocks them for enjoying themselves, just having a great time. And then that leads to the daughter wanting to confront, but the father actually stops her. And then now the family is feeling disappointed, feeling like the father didn't stand up for them. So then the dad has to decide what he's going to do about that situation. Yeah.
Wow. So where did this idea come from? Did you have any personal experience with something like this?
I personally have not experienced anything at a restaurant like this, but I think in the last 2 years, it's definitely been more, unfortunately, present where like this aggression from other people has actually happened in public spaces, and I've heard people being assaulted sometimes, which is it's really awful. But which is why we really wanted to make sure that we weren't. We made sure that that part felt real, but balancing it with joy so that we're not making this video sort of like trauma-induced.
Right. Well, there are real moments of joy in this. Let's talk about Tai Ma. How did you get Tai Ma on board?
Well, Tai is, I've always been a fan, and we've actually worked together on this show called The Man in the High Castle together. And he supported me as a filmmaker and came to film festivals to watch my short films in the past. And he happened to be in town for the show that he's shooting right now, Kung Fu. And from the beginning, we knew that when we came up with the concept, it has to be Tai, because how cool would it be to see a stern Asian dad stereotype, but then when he goes into the dream sequence, he's this Elton John pop icon. So we really wanted Tai in that cool suit. So I'm so lucky that we got Tai involved in this.
Well, interesting you should say it has to be Tai. This is our vision for this role.
Yes.
And his scene. How does he feel about it? Did he feel this is the role I need to play?
I hope so. I thought we had a really great time. I hope so, Tai. But he took home the costume. He was like, I want this costume. This is great. So it is now at his home, which I hope that indicates that he loved doing this.
Okay, let's talk about just making a film in this time. Sort of, we're not yet post-COVID. There have been some real challenges along the way. What has that been like for you?
It has been challenging to just connect with people. And I always my goal is to create a family on set. And so working together with masks on is always a challenge, but I forgot how amazing it feels to actually work in person and then seeing performances in person as well. Everything just felt like, when we've been developing this for like 2 years now, so it really was sort of like finally it all came together.
Okay, but you had a certain plan going into this film, and you made some changes along the way. You actually altered the last scene. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Tai, when he read the script, he loved it, and then he just mentioned that there's this one thing he felt that, and when you watch the video, you'll see, but in the end, the whole restaurant stands up to the hecklers with the dad. But originally, it was just the father. And then he comes back to the family table, and the family now looks at him like, oh, wow, Dad. But he felt that he's had an experience similar like this, what we see in the film, and he was the only person who stood up in that moment. And he felt that if everybody stood up with him, he didn't have to go through that. So he felt that indifference is just as bad. And that message was powerful to me, and I felt like I really wanted to include that in the story. So we came up with the idea that why don't we all, like everybody is inspired by this one person and their courage of standing up for their family. And in unison, there's more power. So that kind of changed the ending.
Wow. And it's wonderful how you manage to balance, difficult subject matter, uncomfortable moments like that, with some real joy and hope as well. Let's talk about the song.
Yeah, well, originally when Amanda wrote this song, it was inspired by her feeling of seeing how the world is changing because of the Asian hate crimes. And because of that core inspiration was so important to me as a storyteller as well. We wanted to make sure that the social message is there, but knowing Amanda, she is such a joyful person and her work really centers with joy. So we wanted to make sure joy was at the center of the story and the visuals. And I also believe that, especially we knew we wanted to release on Asian Heritage Month, celebrating Asian culture, empowering Asian cultures, and our heritage was really important to me. So I wanted to make sure that balance was there.
Yeah, the timing is perfect. The timing is perfect. So when we say Asian Heritage Month, what does that mean for you, aside from the timing of the release of this film?
I think it means we still have a long way to go in terms of representation. There's a group of us who are a little bit more well represented in media, but not all of us. So I think it's a really great moment for all of us to take a look at all of our cultures because it's multicultural, it's multi-ethnic, it's multilingual. There's so much more to what Asian diaspora means. So this month really is to sort of spread yourself outside of your community circle to see more of what Asian means and educate ourselves. So I hope that we can contribute that way.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. It's a beautiful message.
Thank you.
And I can feel it's a heartfelt message, and it's important timing for it as well. Thank you for coming in. It's great to see you in person, and congratulations on a beautiful film.
Thank you so much.
If not today, then tomorrow.